This is Cannaday, and today we're taking a look at the SP//DR Spider Mech deck for Marvel Champions. All right, let's take a look at SP//DR, or Spider, the Spider suit here from an alternate universe. Spider is kind of interesting because the alter ego and hero cards are on two separate cards here. So you have Penny Parker and then the SP//DR suit that you are going to have for the game. And I'll kind of talk about how this works a little bit. So you start as Penny Parker. You have 4 recovery. And then when you set up the game, you're going to have both of these active at the same time. So it's going to be flipped over like this. And you have this on its inactive side face up. So you have this upgrade basically like this. And then this can't be, this is when you flip, you're going to flip this over and flip this over. So it's 2 different cards for your identity. So it kind of like makes it slightly interesting. Also, you have a maintenance here as an alter ego form. You can exhaust the spider suit and draw 2 cards. So you could exhaust this when you're an alter ego and then be able to draw 2 cards into your hand. Do note you have a recovery of 4 and a hand size of 4. This is like the lowest hand size in hero form you'll basically ever see, or I've seen yet. But she does have 14 hit points. So you're going to start the game with 4 cards in your hand. But that will kind of be mitigated by some of the other stuff that goes on. This is a very unique deck compared to other ones. So Penny Parker, when you flip her over, you'll flip this and the spider suit, and then you'll be in hero form. So then you have hero form here, which has a thwart of 2, attack of 2, and then defense of 2. And then it has sync ratio, resource, exhaust, and interface upgrade you control, generate that upgrade's resources. So then is a hand size of 3 when you're in hero mode. So your hand size has gone down even more, but your hit points are still 4, of course. But if you'll notice, here we have the upgrade is turned into an interface pilot. And on our other side, you can then you can basically exhaust this as a resource to gain a wild resource. So you start with a low hand size, but you do have a wild resource that you can use as an interface here for a spider. And then, of course, the forced interrupt, when you would flip back down, you would flip both of these. So this does a little bit of interesting stuff because it basically allows you to exhaust your alter ego and exhaust your hero independent of each other. So you could technically recover and then still have your hero to be able to attack with. Or use Penny Parker's ability and exhaust this and then flip over and then still have Penny, or when you're exhaust this when you're in hero form to draw cards, and then when you flip over, then you would have the interface here to use as a resource as well. So there's interesting stuff you have with the different cards and kind of how you use those cards as you flip back and forth. It's kind of a unique thing that's kind of, you have to kind of get used to as you play it. So as we're talking about these interfaces that give you extra resources, let's go through those because Spider Suit has several of these interfaces. So really the most important one here, the one that I think is really cool, is the Host Spider. This is a 3-cost upgrade. It's also the most expensive. And it's a hero action, exhaust Host Spider, and ready the suit. So you'd be able to ready the suit so you'd be able to attack again, or maybe use it in different ways. So being able to ready a hero is always important. And a thing to note is this is also an interface. So it could be just used to exhaust to gain a resource with that suit also. That's one of the interfaces there. Then we have Web Fluid Compressor. This is a 2-cost upgrade. Interrupt when Spider Suit makes a basic attack, exhaust it, and you get +2 for that attack. So you'd be able to add up to your extra attack there. But also, since this is an interface, it can also just be exhausted as a resource. And of course, these resources are all going to give you the resources listed on the card there. And then we have Psychic Link upgrade. When Spider Suit makes a basic thwart, exhaust Psychic Link and get +2 thwart for that thwart. So this is going to also allow you to get extra thwart, but you can exhaust it for resources also. And then Speed Metal Alloy. This is a 1-cost upgrade, so the cheapest one. When Spider Suit defends against an attack, exhaust this to get +2 defense for that defense. And this is also an interface. So all these can be used as resources. So technically you have 5 different interfaces. You have 4 upgrade interfaces that you can play out. And then you have the other side of Penny Parker, of course, which will give you an interface there as well. So you have all these resources that you're kind of building up as the game goes along that you can exhaust to spend to pay for cards out of your hand. All right, let's take a look at some of the other cards here. So Aunt May and Uncle Ben is a 1-cost support. Exhaust Aunt May and Uncle Ben, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Drop 3 instead if you're in alter ego form. Add each spider card discarded this way to your hand. Then Ejection Protocol is a 0-cost support. Discard Ejection Protocol. Exhaust each interface upgrade you control. Set your hit point dial to 6 and give your identity a tough status card flipped to alter ego form. So this basically lets you jump out of your suit and heal back up. So that's actually pretty cool and could be really handy if you need it at a certain point there. And then we have a 1-cost support, Spider Command, Exhaust Spider Command, and an interface upgrade to draw a card. So you can exhaust interfaces to also allow you to draw a card when you have this out here. But you also have to exhaust this. And then as a hero action, you can exhaust Spider Command and choose and discard 1 card from your hand and ready an interface upgrade. So it just allows you to have a bunch of flexibility to kind of manipulate the different interfaces you have. I mean, maybe you discard a card and ready the one that allows you to unexhaust your character. So that way you could unexhaust your character multiple times. So there's a lot of cool combos you can do. You really need these interfaces to get this deck going. So All Systems Go is going to let you do that. This is a 1-cost event. Hero action, ready an interface upgrade you control, or you can search or ready each interface upgrade you control, which is awesome. So if you have a whole bunch of them out there already, you could do this and really be able to utilize those things again. Or even better here, you can search your deck or discard pile for an interface upgrade and add it to your hand, which is going to be crucial for you getting this deck up and running. So you actually have 3 of those in her little kit here. And then you also have the Web Trap, which is a 2-cost event. This is a hero action. Deal 5 damage to an enemy if you paid for this card using a resource generated by the spider suit, which you're going to be doing all the time. Then stun that enemy. This is going to deal 5 damage and stun an enemy for the most part. Then Rapid Deployment. This is a 2-cost event. Remove 3 threat from a scheme if you paid for this card using a resource generated by spiders. Sync ratio ability, remove 3 threat from a scheme. So you're going to remove 3 threat from a scheme and then remove 3 threat from another scheme. That's pretty awesome. So you have 2 of those as well. And then Venom, the Venom ally here. This is a 4-cost ally. It gets +1 thwart. So it's 1 star with 1 star thwart with 1 consequential damage, 1 star attack with 1 consequential damage. But you have to note here that it gets +1 thwart and attack for each stem counter on her. So this will be much stronger. But if you look here, hero response after Venom enters play, place 1 stem counter on her for each resource generated by Spider Suit's sync ratio ability you played this turn. So basically, as you exhaust all the different interfaces, for each interface you exhausted, to pay for the cost, you're going to put a token on here, and it's going to have extra thwart or extra attack based off of that. So if you paid the entire cost of 4 with the Venom for Venom here, which I have done before, that means that she will have 5 thwart and 5 attack, which is ridiculous, especially for an ally. And I think Venom's really awesome, especially if you get it late in the round. It really works well with the spider suit stuff that's going on here and being able to exhaust all the stuff. And it's really a heavy hitter. But if you got it at the very beginning of the game, it's not going to be worth that 4 cost at all. And then we do have we have protection here for Penny Parker and Spider. This is the Spider-Man Noir 3-cost ally with X thwart, which is 1 consequential damage, and X attack. So X is equal to the number of face-down cards attached to Spider-Man Noir. So after you resolve a treachery, if you control another Web Warrior card, attach that treachery face-down here to a maximum of 3. So Spider-Man Noir is going to kind of come into play, and then he can kind of just steal all of these treacheries and kind of like get stronger as the game goes along. So you can put 3 treacheries underneath him, and then he'll get kind of stronger. This is an interesting card because it kind of has to sit in play. I don't know how much I like it overall. I have to resolve the treachery if you control another Web Warrior card. attach it face down here. It seems pretty, I mean, it's a 3 cost to start with, no real like threat or attack. Very interesting card. I'd like to see it utilized properly. 2 cost ally, Daredevil here. It is 2 thwart with 2 consequential damage, 1 attack, 1 consequential damage. Response: after Daredevil defends against an attack, move 1 damage from him to the attacking enemy. Awesome. So he has even better than Retaliate. Healing Retaliate is basically kind of what he has. Then Spider Tingle. This is a 1 cost upgrade. When you would reveal an encounter card, deal 1 damage to a Web Warrior character you control. If this card is a treachery, cancel its when revealed effect. And then discard Spider Tingle. So you can ping somebody or ping one of your Web Warrior characters for a damage, and then get rid of those when revealed effect. This works really well with Spider Ham, which I'm also doing a review for. If you can ping him for a damage and give him those tune counters, that's really awesome. Force Field Generator. This is a 3 cost upgrade. It has 6 energy counters on it. When you would take any amount of damage, remove that many energy counters from here. For each energy counter removed this way, prevent 1 of that damage. This is a 3 cost upgrade that's going to allow you to prevent a bunch of damage coming up against you. Up to 6. That's pretty cool. And then Energy Barrier. This is a 2 cost upgrade, which we've seen plenty of times. If you would take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter here, prevent 1 of that damage, and deal 1 damage to an enemy. So a bunch of like responsing and like hitting the bad guy back when they hit you. And then Repurpose, which would be amazing to use with that Force Field Generation. Repurpose, discard a tech upgrade you control, ready your hero, and choose thwart, attack, or defense. Until the end of the round, your hero gets X to that chosen power, where X is equal to the upgrade's printed cost. There's a combo here where if you get this upgrade and discard it and use when you use Repurpose, you could make the Spider Suit attack really hard, and then you could also unexhaust it with like Host Spider and do that over and over again. That's pretty cool. Flip. This is a 2 cost event. 1 damage or hero action, deal 1 damage to a Web Warrior character you control. Place a total of 2 stun status cards on up to 2 enemies. So you're going to be able to stun a couple of bad guys there. That's pretty cool. And then we have Spider-Man. This is Octavius, so I guess this is Dr. Octopus Spider-Man. But this is 1 thwart with 1 consequential damage, 2 attack with 2 consequential damage. Play only if you control a Web Warrior card. After you play Spider-Man from your hand, ready an upgrade you control. That's awesome. If that upgrade is a tech upgrade, draw a card, which is amazing with Penny Parker because, of course, a bunch of her interfaces are all going to be tech and things like that. So you really want to get those ready again so you can reuse them. This is the perfect ally for this deck. And then Spider-Ham himself. This is a 3 cost ally, 2 thwart with an asterisk scare and 2 attack. This looks like we have no consequential damage listed on the card. Force response: after Spider-Ham attacks or thwarts, discard the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon discard this way, deal 1 damage to Spider-Ham. So you're going to end up taking damage equal to the boost icons on the card. If you end up drawing a bunch that have 0 on it, you might not take any. So that's kind of cool. And then Unshakable here. This is a 1 cost upgrade. Condition superpower. Play only if your identity has at least 14 printed hit points. This looks like this should be played in Hulk. Your identity gains steady. So basically you require 2 status cards of the same type to be stunned or confused. So you get 3 of those to kind of help you out from being stunned or confused. Then another good Hulk card here. This is a 1 cost event, Limitless Stamina. Play only if your identity has at least 14 printed hit points. Ready your hero. So this will allow you to stand back up to be able to go at your opponents again. And then you have Inherited Burden, which has to do with this is your obligation here. We don't go into those too much. But of course, this is going to make you get rid of an interface, which would be terrible because it takes you forever to kind of build that stuff up, especially since you have your small hand size. Or you can exhaust Penny Parker and remove it from the game. And then, of course, you have Morbius. And then, of course, all the terrible cards that go along with him. Energy draining everywhere. And then we have a couple interesting cards here. A 1 cost upgrade, Clarity of Purpose. Attached to a friendly character, max 1 per character. Exhaust this card and deal 1 damage to attached character to generate a wild resource. So very much giving you like Venom's, Venom from the Guardians of the Galaxy team. Wild resource generation thing there, dealing damage to yourself to get those. That's pretty cool. This would be extremely good in Spider-Ham, but cool stuff there. And then we have another modular set you can add in here. This is Iron Spider Sinister 6 with all these different minions, Iron Spider villain minions here, Electro and Hobgoblin and Iron Spider and another Sandman and Splot and Surgeon Crime. So all sorts of different bad cards you can add in if you want a modular set with a different Sinister 6 with Iron Spider Sinister 6. You can throw that in your games as well. All right, let's take a look at what we think. So Spider, the mech suit here is like a very interesting and unique character. It definitely plays way different from any of the other heroes they've put out so far. You basically have an extremely small hand size. And when I first saw this character, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like the way that it plays. I like to be able to cycle through my deck. I like playing tons of different cards. It's a very different game when you play with the Spider mech suit. But as I actually played the deck and actually got into it, realizing that you kind of have these resources that you can utilize and are kind of like building up these interfaces that are going to allow you to play a bunch of different cards, but also allow you to use those interfaces in interesting ways to buff your stats or unexhaust your character, and just having those things out. It's very interesting because you don't go through your deck very fast with this. So you're going to have to be using those. All systems ready to try to like pull the right interfaces out of your deck, and then after you get all the interfaces out, Spider is huge and amazing as far as like all the stuff you can do. You can play really expensive cards, and then you can do lots of different combos of being able to unexhaust your character, re-exhaust your character, do this to unexhaust the thing so you can get extra attack and do this and that. There's a lot of different cool combos you can do once you get the entire kit of all of your interfaces out there. And then the Venom Ally is fun to just play out, exhaust all those interfaces, and then just have a extremely heavy hitting ally is pretty cool too. But I think this is an interesting deck. Like if you're looking for something different in the game, the fact that the alter ego and the hero are two separate cards, kind of allowing you to refresh and attack in the same card, or rest and attack in the same turn, or be able to use it to draw cards, or using it as an interface to maybe use it for resources as well. There's a lot of interesting decisions. I do not think this is a beginner-friendly deck at all. Like this is basically kind of like advanced play and like even just kind of like a different way of playing the game in general. It's funny, every game I've played, like this deck will be like halfway through when the other heroes that are at the table like deck out during the game, because you're not going to go through your deck very fast at all. You're going to be drawing 3 or 4 cards and then maybe exhausting your mech suit to draw a couple more cards here and there. But yeah, it's very interesting. I like this deck a lot. It's kind of an interesting one to wrap your head around, and it took me a few plays to kind of get it, but I enjoyed this one a lot. I think I'm going to give this one a seal of excellence. This one is a lot of fun. If you enjoy Marvel Champions and you want a different feeling deck and a different way to play the game, check out SP//DR. I like the whole mech feel. I like that you can eject and heal your hit points. I like that you can unexhaust all of these different techs and be able to use it over and over again. It's a lot of fun. Well, let me know what you're looking forward to in Marvel Champions. I definitely enjoy this one. Are you looking forward to all the X-Men stuff coming up? Which X-Men do you hope they make a hero pack for? Is there one that you really want to see added to the game? I'm super pumped for everything coming out for Marvel Champions. Make sure to leave that stuff down in the comments below. It's awesome being here and doing some Marvel Champions reviews for you. Anyway, I've been Roy Cannaday. I'll see you on the next one.